Pittsburgh. He's been there. He got hurt. Didn't seem to care.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gypsy Poet Radio here on blogtalkradio.com/Gypsy Poet. I am the Gypsy Poet, and of course with me is the serendipitous wing gal, the fireball of them all, the wonderful, relentless Girl George. Girl George, say it with me, Girl George, Girl George, Girl George. What a blast. We got a terrific singer-songwriter on the show, none other than the one and only Peter Case. Is everyone with me?
Yeah, hey, right here.
Yeah,
wonderful.
We're all here.
Hi.
How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing
what
all right,
you been
George.
doing? I heard you were down in Australia with the Flaming Groovies. That must have been cool.
Yeah, I was just down there on tour. It was a weird tour. It was the Flaming Groovies, the Peter Case Band, Blue Oyster Cult, the Buzzcocks.
Oh.
It's a crazy tour. We had a great time, though. It was great being down there with Cyril. It was Cyril and George, and Chris was in the band again. And
yeah, I
cool,
know.
Man.
Your song, that 1,000 Miles from Wherever, sort of reminds me of the Flaming Groovies. That
I love the
power
Flaming
pop
Groovies.
thing. Huh?
Yeah. We were all in the same bag, like my band, The Nerves, was going like around the same time that Groovies was. But we all were like influenced by Wilhelm, right? Like Wilhelm.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get Wilhelm on.
Man,
He said he'd do the show, so pretty soon we're going to have Wilhelm on.
I know, Mike Wilhelm. I talk to him on the phone all the time,
Yeah, I'm trying to get George Hunter too. The guy that was in the Charlatans.
Yeah, I know who he is. I never knew him though.
Oh, he's the one that I knew first was George
right?
Hunter, back when the Charlatans were together in about 1965 or 66,
yeah.
way before you were born, I know.
I know. Wow.
But that must have started the whole San Francisco thing. Back in the day, the whole hippie thing started with them.
Yeah, well, I didn't get to San Francisco to 73, George, and so I was here for about 15 minutes when I met Wilhelm,
Well, that's right when I got back from Nashville, and I started running the Coffee Gallery open mic, and I hear you were playing out in the street, across the street, because you weren't old enough to get in.
No, I used to come into the Coffee Gallery, and I used to back you up there a few times, George.
Oh, you did?
Wilhelm. I used to play with Wilhelm there, yeah. And
yeah,
so,
Wilhelm always backed me up. He backed everybody up.
Yeah, we backed you up playing, it was like doing that set with, Let It Bleed and all that stuff, and it was... One time it was me and Wilhelm and maybe Kenny Pells and some other people.
Oh, yeah,
we played
Kenny
with you.
Pells. And J.C. Burris was always there, too, on Heart.
J.C. was always there, yeah.
He didn't back me up because he did his own thing, but then Wilhelm backed him up because Wilhelm could follow anybody.
Yeah, Wilhelm was great, yeah. I learned a lot from Wilhelm. I met Wilhelm right when I first got to San Francisco. I was playing on the street down by, the cable car turnaround or something. And Wilhelm came out and hey, man, you could be in my band, something like that. So I was playing blues out there. So we went to get a drink, and I got thrown out of the bar because I was too young. But I could hang out. You could hang out at the Coffee Gallery, I guess, because they sold food or something. I don't know. Or maybe just
they did.
Nobody
They had a sandwich
me,
place there.
No, I used to always play there, at the Coffee Gallery. I always did the open mic.
The Coffee Fusion was before your time, wasn't it?
So, yeah, I never knew that joint.
Yeah, that's where I first started playing, but that was way back in about 66 or 65.
Yeah.
So that was before your time. It was a couple blocks, a couple doors from the Coffee Gallery. But it didn't last long.
Yeah, when I was there, Tom Hobson was always hanging out there.
Oh, yeah, he was around for a long time. He was really
good. He was a really cool
guy.
I forget his wife's name, and they'd always hang out and play bluegrass.
Yeah, I know. They were friends of Michael's, too.
Yeah, they were super cool.
Well, everyone was friends of Michael's.
Yeah, exactly,
So
and
I
then we
hear
go
that
out in
you
the
got
street
2
and play,
Grammys.
me and... Hey, what?
I hear that you got 2 Grammys. How cool is that?
No. He got nominated for 2 Grammys, right?
I got nominated for 3 Grammys,
3?
actually.
Thank you. Awesome. Talk to us about that, please.
Yeah,
Did you get any of them?
The first time I got nominated, I didn't even know I was nominated for about a year after it. I just wasn't paying any attention. And then
which ones were you nominated for?
I was nominated for a song called Old Blue Car back in '86. It was like an electric, it was a track I did with T-Bone Burnett, Jim Keltner, and this guy Fred Tackett from Little Feat, and it was under my name. And then we did, and then I got nominated for producing a record. a tribute record to Mississippi John Hurt, and then I got nominated for a record that they had out on Yep Rock a couple years ago. God, it was called Let Us Now Praise Sleepy John. So that got like contemporary folk nomination. So we went down to it and we saw Little Richard play, and we hung out. So Little Richard was jamming with Jerry Lee Lewis, and it was cool. We saw Bob Dylan playing, and it was fun.
Oh, Bob Dylan! Have you met Bob Dylan?
Yeah, I met Bob Dylan.
Oh, he's so cool. He's my hero,
Yeah, I know he's your hero.
For the first year I played, I was Bobby Dylan. That's all I did was Bobby Dylan song. So I think I could do Bobby Dylan probably better than Bobby can.
Yeah, I thought maybe you were Bob Dylan when I first met you.
I thought I was too.
So tell us
it was
a
a
little
fun
bit
scene,
about. I was going to ask you. Tell us a little bit about your scene in Valley Girl. What was that like?
Oh, I don't know. That wasn't nothing, because like we just got offered to be in this movie, and it was just it's like an afternoon's work, and like they didn't even tell us it was called Valley Girl. They said it was they were like lying to us, and they said it was like Romeo and Juliet set in Los Angeles.
Oh,
that's what they told us, man.
Sorta.
But then like there was a hit record by Frank Zappa's Kid. And then they changed the name of it to Ride on that one. But anyhow, it was Nicolas Cage and a bunch of other people. We just played, and it was my song, and then like he brought the girl to see it, and then like he banged her in the back room, and then they all got drunk, and they went outside and got beat up by a bunch of people and passed out in the field.
I love that song, Valley Girl. Gag me with a spoon. You don't like that song? I guess it's a girl song. The Valley Girl, Gag Me with a Spoon.
Oh, I forgot about that one, yeah.
Well, that's what it was named after, was that song.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, it was cool.
I loved that movie. I thought it was great. And that other band that was in there that was at the prom?
Vaguely, yeah, Josie Cotton,
well,
right?
Yeah, and they did Johnny, Are You Queer? Well,
that was cool,
the keyboard player of that used to play at the Central all the time. When I played at the Central, and I used to do Johnny Got Herpes, and he came up to me one night and he says, "Did you write that song about me? My name is Johnny, and I've got herpes, and I drive a Firebird," which are words in the song.
Wow.
Which I think he's lying, but
crazy, man. Wow, that's crazy, man. Hey, I didn't know you were living. I didn't even I was down in Los Angeles, and I didn't know you were down there, George.
Yes, you did. You ran into me in the bank.
I did.
Up in Las Vegas. You and your old lady was, what's her name? Victoria Williams or something like that?
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And then you ran into me at a sound check at Baba's Jam, and you came up and you said, "Remember me?" I said, "No." And you said, "I used to play across the street from the coffee gallery. Remember that back 10 years before?" I didn't. Oh, God, I don't remember.
Wow, man.
I don't remember much enough. But I've remembered you ever since then,
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I remember.
So we used to run into each other
this.
once in a while in Hollywood. I was there for 12 years.
Wow. Where'd you live?
Las Vegas.
In
the bottom part, in the ghetto part.
Oh yeah,
before
down Los
sunset,
I like it over there. It's a cool neighborhood.
Yeah. It was okay. But I used to play at Al's Bar all the time, at No Time, and then I played at the Central Jam for years.
I used to play at Al's Bar. It was cool.
Al Cooper would be there, and then Chambers Brothers and Mitch Mitchell, and all those would go to that jam at the Central, which turned into the Viper Room. Have you played the Viper Room?
Yeah, I played that.
Well, that used to be the Central.
I played it when it was the Central. Sure I did. And before that, it was
that's where the Valley thing was filmed at, wasn't it?
Yeah. We did a French TV show in there, too, if you know what I mean. And then we also did, that was Filthy McNasty's before that, but I never played it.
Oh, yeah, that was before me. I used to play at the Palomino. Did you ever play at the Palomino?
I played at the Palomino. I never saw you at the Palomino, but I played there a bunch. Yeah, we did.
No, I played there, and at, let's see where, the Anti-Club. You ever played there?
So I played the Anti-Club. The Grand Old Anti, they used to call it.
Or the Cafe de Grand. I ran an open mic there for a while.
Did
that
you
was another punk club. I played the punk clubs, yeah. I even played the Roxy once and the Troubadour.
Yeah, we played all the same joints. I played all them places. Trying to remember
How
what
long
else.
were you married? How many times have you been married now? What?
I've been married a lot of times, man. 3 times. You know, that first one I can't remember. It seemed like each one lasted about one. Each one goes about twice as long as the one before. So it was like 5 years, and then I was married for 10 years. Now I've been married for a while.
So you're married right now?
Yeah, I'm married.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I always like to be
take care
married, you know.
Huh?
I always like to be married. I don't know why.
Have somebody take care of you, feed you.
Yeah. It's just more fun, you know.
We advertised a lot about the plimsolls on when we were putting out that you're going to be on the radio program. I wanted to ask a little bit about that. What is this band like, if you mind me asking?
What is what?
Who was in the band? The Plimsolls.
Yes.
Who was in it?
Yes, who was in the band?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of guys. Let's see. It was Lou Ramirez was the drummer. I met Louis Ramirez, was this guy from down in Paramount, California, you know. And that's me and him started the band, and then it was Eddie Munoz, Louis Ramirez, and David Pajoa, and me. And those guys were all from down. Eddie was from Texas, you know. He was a pretty well-known guitar player in Austin, but I met him at the Flame and Groovy show at the Starwood in 1978.
Oh, I remember Starwood.
Yeah. And the Groovies came down, and Wilhelm and everybody. We were all hanging out. I met Eddie that night, and he joined the band, you know. But the Plimsolls, we were like, you know, local LA band, and put out a record on this Long Beach label, and that's what got us kind of well known. We got on K-Rock. We were like a big band in the early days of K-Rock radio. And the beginning of that whole thing.
Rodney
I
Binghamheimer.
Yeah, Rodney played our records. You know, like I've been in the Nerves was my first band, and so the Nerves started in San Francisco in '75. You know, and then we had this record called Hanging on the Telephone, and we put that out and played a whole bunch of gigs. And then we went down to LA and did a national tour with the Ramones in '77.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Oh wow, hello, yeah.
Well, we played the Midwest dates with the Ramones, and then we did a national tour. We did some dates with the Ramones, some dates with Mink DeVille, and some like with a whole bunch of other bands. We met D-Lo and Perubu and, you know, DMZ, which you might not know, but just like all these other bands that summer. And then we came back and broke up because we went nuts. And then the Plimsolls kind of fell, you know, came in out of the back of that, you know.
So what year did the Plimsolls get together?
79.
Yes.
79.
Yeah.
I was still in L.A. then. I was in L.A. from about 83 till 95.
Wow. Yeah.
Then I came back home to the Bay Area.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm back in the Bay Area, too. I'm happy to be back.
Oh, I love the weather much better. It's so hot in L.A. I hate the heat.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about it. This whole atmosphere is better, you know.
It's more laid back.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah, the L.A. thing was cool. I like L.A., you know. I love it, but I don't know. I'm glad to be out of there.
Pretty intense there.
Yeah. You know what we used to always say? They used to tell me before I went down there up in San Francisco, they used to say, you'll be in L.A. and the people in the front seat of the car will be having a conversation about the people in the back seat of the car, and you can't even hear what they're saying.
No, I loved L.A. Everybody I knew were artists, and they were all bound and determined to do it and do something and create something. It was very I started writing there. That's where I wrote most of my songs, was there at Al's Bar, because they threw shit at you if you weren't good and current and had something new every week. They would throw shit at you, so you better get fast.
I had shit thrown at me at the Coffee Gallery, man. They used to throw bottles at the Coffee Gallery. Yeah,
I've never seen that.
Well, you might have not played the nights with me and Kenny get up in there and there'd be drunk guys throwing ashtrays.
Kenny was an asshole. No wonder. I think they were worried at Kenny. What about that bass player that Michael had that used to jump off the stage and beat up the audience?
Yeah, that's why, because you had to protect yourself there, man. They were nice to you because, you know, they didn't want to offend you, but, you know, if you were like, you know, Michael's band or my band or something, like people were throwing ashtrays and bottles, and it was crazy there. I saw a guy get a chair, just like a barroom fight, broke a chair over a guy's head in there one time. It was crazy in there. Man.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the Nerves and the Breakaways.
Yeah, well, the Nerves was, we started up. I was a street musician, and like this guy was always coming by when I played on the street, and he dug the music I was playing out there. And we ended up starting the Nerves, and like we were writing songs, and like our whole thing was like we were trying to get music back to the thing where it was like 2 minutes and 3 minute songs, like real tight rock and roll, teenage rock and roll, and so that's what we were doing.
Oh.
And it was like at the time when like Led Zeppelin, who I dig and all that, but like they were like doing all like super jams. Everybody was showing how great they were on their instruments, and we couldn't do that. So we were just like doing like we were like in the teenage, just the original kind of teenage rock and roll. And so that's what we did, and we had Hanging on the Telephone and I'm Working Too Hard and all these kind of songs. And we made our own record, and we were one of the first bands out of that whole. There was another band up here called Crime that did it right around the same time we did it. And we made our own record and put it out, and like, this truck pulled up and unloaded like thousands of records into our basement, and like it took us like, it took like years to sell them, Now they go for $100. One just sold on eBay for $108, the original Nerves record. I wish I would have pulled a box out, man, back in the day. But
did you ever play the Maboo High or the Broadway above it? Yes?
Yeah, I played both those joints, yeah. I played the Maboo High, We played there in '77. We were one of the first groups to play there, and then I played the Off Broadway with the Plimsolls.
Oh wow!
Or whatever that place upstairs was called, and then we played the Old Waldorf. We played Wolfgangs. We played a bunch of other joints too.
You played the Fillmore and the Great American Music Hall.
I personally played both those places. Yeah, the Nerves played the Great American Music Hall, and when we played there, we played on a bill with Sammy Hagar. And it was 1976, and the whole Jackson 5 came and saw us play. And we met him and everything.
What about Winterland? Did you play Winterland?
Never played Winterland. I don't think it was open anymore when I got here. The Fillmore reopened. I played the Fillmore, and I played, I played all those joints. Like, the Stone, we played the Keystone and all those kind of joints. First gig I ever had in San Francisco was at Gulliver's. George.
Yeah, I used to play at Gulliver's. So did Helios Creed.
First time I ever played there was the summer of '73, and they said, "Come on in here, play." There was a bartender there. He was a real cool guy. I can't remember, and he had something to do with K-Sam, but I can't remember his name anymore. It was Robert somebody. And
I remember Robert.
Yeah, you remember that guy? And they
invited
me in to
play. Well, Robert's the one that took me when I had my baby. I had to go to the hospital. He lived near me, so I called him, and he took me to have my baby. I think he stayed there while I was having him and the photographer.
Wow, yeah, he was a cool cat.
I had my baby in Berkeley in '77.
Wow, good for you.
Well, I'm a mama now. I'm a grandma now. I did my duty of reproducing.
Me too. My kid. I got my son who's 30. Got turned 39 this year.
Oh, cool. I got a daughter who's 36 and two grandkids, 6 and 3. You got any grandkids yet?
No, none of those.
Oh, you will.
Yeah, probably will. Hey, what was I saying? I forget what I was saying. Who cares?
Oh, Robert at Gulliver's. And it used to be the MDR before it was Gulliver's, right?
So I was living out in at the behind, that rehearsal place at the heliport out in Marin. Well, we lived behind that in this junkyard. Because we were like out of money and everything, so like everybody I knew was like living out there in like these abandoned trucks, and we decorated them. They had record players in them and everything. But it was kind of a squatting kind of scene. But we were living out there, and then some guy came over from Hawaii, and he brought a bunch of pot with him. And I was supposed to be hitchhiking into doing this gig, and then he turned me on to this Hawaiian weed, man. And then somehow I made it to the gig, because I was like so high, man. And then I got in there, and like I'm playing, and these people were complaining. They were telling me, turn down. I go, I'm not even using a microphone. I was playing acoustic, man. They were like, you're playing too loud. But anyhow.
Where was it, at Gulliver's?
Yeah, at Gulliver's.
At Gulliver's, I used to play there like every week. I was so loud. Most of my fans there were a bunch of deaf people used to come in. Deaf people. And they could hear me because I was so loud. You know how I stepped on the floor and stuff?
Yeah,
and they could
loud,
hear the music, so they came in to see me. So most of my audience at Gulliver's were junkies and deaf people.
That makes sense, really, but it was crazy. It was a wild scene down there. Yeah, it was cool.
I remember one night I was at Gulliver's, and there was a shootout over at the saloon across the street.
Oh, yeah. Boy, that place was rough over there.
No, I never played the saloon. That was a little rough for me.
Yeah, Lisa Kindred used to always be over there.
Yeah, she was there. I think she still is.
I think she's still there, yeah.
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 And Nick Gravenitis played there this weekend. Nick Gravenitis is still out. Nick Gravenitis.
Oh, wow.
You don't remember him?
Cool to see him.
You don't remember him?
Yeah, I remember him.
Oh, okay. Because he was playing there this weekend. I seen it up on the web.
That's cool. Maybe I'll go over there. Yeah, we played there a little bit. You remember that guy I used to play with, Danny, Crazy Horse Danny? Do you remember him?
Danny, I don't know.
Wilhelm remembers him. Most people remember him, but he was. So we had a band out on the street. We used to call the band the Frozen Chosen. That was the name of our street band. In 73, 74. But then I left that and I joined the Nerves, you know. And the Nerves was a different thing. And so we went out and played all those gigs with the Ramones and all that. And that broke up in the Plimsolls, and that went for Plimsolls went on for about 5 or 6 years, and then I went solo, you know.
So you're touring all the time. I see you on the web, and you're constantly touring, huh?
Yeah, because you can't make any money putting out records anymore. So, but you can tour, and I'm just doing what I can do as a musician to keep it all going, man. So I just got back from Australia with Cyril, and then right after I went straight from that, I went straight out to Boston and toured on the East Coast. And before I went to Australia, I was touring down the South. So I toured nationally. I toured over in Europe too. I played like the Low Countries and England and Scotland. I had the guy that used to put me on in Italy passed away, and so did the guy that put me on over in Ireland, man. So I got to get, but I toured.
How about Germany? Have you hit Germany yet?
I don't go to Germany very much, you know. I never got along with Germany very good, so I don't go there so good.
Because a lot of people go over to Germany. I think Julius Creed is real famous in Germany.
Probably, yeah. Some people do really good there. I like the Catholic countries like France and Spain and Italy and Ireland and all that. That's where I feel comfortable. But Germany, for some reason, I don't go over so good. I went to Japan. That was cool.
When did you go there?
That was a few years back. I went over there with Victoria Williams.
Awesome.
How long were you married to her? How long were you married to her?
It seemed like ages, but I think it was only a few years.
Was she your first wife or second wife?
My first official one.
I looked at earlier this week called the Case Files.
Oh yeah, the Case Files. That's like a bunch of outtakes. That came out last year, and that's like all the stuff that was left over from all these different albums. And I just pulled it together, you know. I'll tell you exactly how that happened. Is I owed my manager a bunch of money, you know.
That's usually how those things go.
So I said, hey, how about I pull together an album and I just give it to you and you can put it out. And so that's what happened. And he did so. But, yeah, I think it's kind of a cool album, actually. Yeah, some of it's recorded live in Texas. There's a live track and a bunch of different stuff. There's a couple of things I gave you, George. One of the songs I gave you in the email was Kokomo Prayer Vigils from that album. So you'll hear it.
Record, or I can't use it.
Well, you can because that's my record, you know. It doesn't matter. They won't ever.
You didn't register it with BMI?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Because it's BMI that stops me, because they sent me songs of theirs, and then when I put them up, YouTube tags me on them and says, oh, they're already registered. We can't put it up there.
I don't know.
Well, we'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
You know what you should do, though, with all the titles? Is just use one-word versions of all the titles.
It's not words. It's not words. They go by the sound. See, BMI puts in recordings of everything that's been through them. And some machine matches anything that comes up there with the sound waves. So it's got nothing to do with words. Because I've tried changing the words in of the titles, and it meant nothing. It's the sound waves they go by.
Does it happen on independent records? Because these are really small label records. Yep.
I did that last week with Baba. She sent me an independent record, but it was registered with BMI. So I think it's BMI that's sticking it up there so that they can grab money out of it.
That's evil shit, man. That's evil.
Yeah. So I'm sure you never see any of the money of it, but they sure still take it.
Doesn't seem like I do. But, yeah, you know, if you have problems with that, let me know, and I'll straighten it out.
Okay. It has to be something that's really never been up there, you know, something that, you know, you recorded something live and it ain't been on record, it ain't been registered with BMI.
Jeez, man.
That's why I don't have no music on the Flamin' Groovies one, because he sent me something and I couldn't use it.
Oh,
and
wow.
same thing with Fish Karma. I could, and it was too late to change it, so I couldn't put no music up there.
I sent you something that definitely is not up there, and I sent you this song called Allen Ginsberg.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
And that's definitely not up there.
Well, that's even better. I like the sound of that one good.
Yeah.
See, what I do is I stick it up by
Allen
itself
Ginsberg,
first and see if it. I stick it up by itself first on YouTube to see if they'll tag it. If they don't tag it, then I stick it on, because I've tried, putting things into the whole video, and after I've worked on it for 18 fucking hours, they reject it, and I have to start all over again.
Oh man,
these things take a long time to do. I have to steal all those pictures. And put them on word by word. It takes until 6 o'clock in the morning.
Crazy, man.
And I'm going blind.
Wow, so you already did one with Ciro?
What?
You already did one with the Flamin' Groovies? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did him a long time ago. He was great. He was really cool. He told me about when the Flamin' Groovies first got together, and he was playing when he was 15 at the Cow Palace on his second gig, and how he got the name the Flamin' Groovies is he was wandering around on acid going, groovy, groovy, groovy. And Roy Loney came up and said, "You're a Flamin' Groovy," and that's where the name came from. So that was
I never heard that story
I
before.
ever
That's
got.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I never heard it before either. He was really, really good. But I couldn't put any of the music on there because they fucking YouTube tagged me. So.
Wow, that ain't cool.
I got one more question for you. You have some really interesting titles to your albums, such as The Man with the Blue Postmodern Fragmented Neo-Traditionalist Guitar. I absolutely love that title.
Oh, cool, man. It was a weird thing because those were all words, like those big words there were like all the words, like all these rock critics and all sorts of people talking about music were doing, and it always just seemed like so overly intellectualized and stuff that, that was the name of the record. But they asked me, what's the name of the album going to be? And I go, I don't know. And they go, well, you got 5 minutes to think about it because we have to know the name of it right away. So I just spit that one out. It was just a quick thing. I kind of regretted it later because it was so hard to say, The Man with the Blue Postmodern Fragment.
Where do you come from originally?
Me, Buffalo.
Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
And you were raised in Buffalo?
Yeah, I was raised in Buffalo, and I left there when I was 18 and came to San Francisco.
Cool. So San Francisco is your home.
I would have gone to New York. I'd already been to New York and Boston, up into Canada. And I used to travel all around my guitar, like hitchhiking and playing, pretending I was Woody Guthrie or something like that. And then when I landed in San Francisco, I just loved California so much. It was just kind of like a revelation,
So you're a real troubadour. That's what I like about you.
Yeah, I started out doing that. Yeah, I've just always been doing that.
You're still doing it. You're still traveling down.
Yeah, I am still doing it.
With a suitcase in your hand and a guitar.
Hey, the first time I ever did it, I went out and I had my guitar and I stuck out my thumb and I was going to go wherever it was going to go. And I said, I'm going to go wherever this ride goes. I'm just going to go. And then I jump in and I go, where are you going? And the guy goes, I'm just going a few blocks. So then I rode a few blocks with the guy and then I walked back and I felt like, I was only like 13 or 14. I was like, wow, I'm really like. So then the next time I did it, the guy was going to New York, then I went to New York and Boston. I saw Lightning Hopkins play over in Boston when I was a kid, hitchhiking over there. And I used to travel all around and do that, because I thought it was cool. And then I had bands, too. I had a band called Pig Nation in '69, and we used to play around Buffalo. We had a review in the local paper. It said, Pig Nation, where were the chaperones? That was my first review I ever did.
How old were you when you first started playing?
11.
11, wow.
I wrote my first song at 11. I started playing when I was 10.
Cool.
64. I guess it was Beatles fallout,
How many kids are in your family?
I'm the youngest of 3.
Youngest of 3. What did your mother and father do?
My dad ran an ice cream stand for a while, and then he put himself back through college and then got a job teaching school. And my mother, she taught school, too. She taught, little kids how to read.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got 1 minute left, so you got anything
15.
to plug? Do you have anything to plug?
Do I have anything to plug?
Yeah.
Yeah.
gigs
I always
coming
got
up?
stuff to plug, man.
I'll find you on Facebook or
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, the
PeterCase.com.
Peter Case page at Facebook, and then I got gigs coming up all around the country. You can go to PeterCase.com and go to the touring page and see where all the dates are. I'm playing all over the United States in the upcoming days, and especially I got a band tour coming out. I'm playing with a band called Deep Element. We're doing a West Coast tour in June, starting around June 5th or something like that. We're going to be playing the Echoplex with a bunch of great bands down in L.A., and we're playing over at the New Parish in Oakland, and I don't know, a week after that. So it's like June 16th, we're in L.A. at the Echoplex, you know.
Okay, PeterCase.com, and it's time, and thank you for talking to
all
us,
right, George.
Peter. It was
Absolutely. Yes.
All right,
yes,
Gypsy
absolutely.
Poet.
Yes, thank
All
you
right.
so much for appearing on the show. Absolutely. Hey, guys, please check out Peter Case. Yes, absolutely. It's great. It's wonderful. We got a whole historical experience. Yeah, I got a lot of fun.
Cool,
okay,
man.
ladies and gentlemen. Yes, absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot. All right.
Yes. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gypsy Poet saying please check out Peter Case in every single way you can. He's on the internet, on Facebook, and everything in between. And also, Girl George, thank you for a great and wonderful half hour here on GPR. You always bring an amazing experience. This is the Gypsy Poet saying adios for now.
Ciao.
Allen Ginsberg, he's been there. He got hurt, didn't seem to care. Told you all you need to know. Let everything that was hidden show. Sailed away with the Dakar Blues across the world in 52. Spoke to Congress in 63, high on grass and LSD, on laughing gas in his hotel room. Mexico City, foretold doom. Well, he stood for freedom and he stood for peace, and his message had a time release. Allen Ginsberg, they called him fact. His books are always in my duffel bag. The Lower East Side, shining light. They say he left his door unlocked that night. To some he seemed a desperate man, a compulsive scribbler with a master plan. He went boldly unafraid, always kept his head in a police raid. Allen Ginsberg broke the rules, passed on all his writers too. Composed a pocket symphony in praise of human sympathy. Well, Allen Ginsberg is here no more. As usual, he's gone before. Face the world with a peaceful mien. Allen Ginsberg, what a scene. Oh, ditty there, Allen Ginsberg.